Cancel
Schweezy.
So it's the 42nd episode of Cancel Schweezy, so I thought we needed to celebrate with a movie review, one of the more popular segments. And 42 is a significant number in the movie Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, so I thought it'd be a good idea to today that I review the movie. And I went through it, I watched it, and we're going to go in depth of things I've thought about when watching the movie. So let's just, like Phil DeFranco says before sex, let's just get right into it. So basically, the movie starts out, the world is ending. The dolphins tried to warn the humans, but it got lost in translation. But the dolphins, I guess, are cool. They got all these fish, so I guess it kind of works out for all of them, to be honest. Yeah, I guess it worked out for the dolphins. So like the dolphins disappear and everything, and so that's the beginning of the movie. And then we meet our main character, Arthur Dent. Now, will I be calling him Arthur throughout this interview? No, I will not. He's played by Martin Freeman. I will most likely be calling him Bilbo this entire thing, because
This is the type of guy you get.
So yeah, so we got a good old Bilbo Baggins here. So apparently, the movie starts off. It's like apparently they're wanting to build a bypass through his house, which is very poor planning because I feel like there was enough empty space around the entire house that would have been okay for them to use. I'm not sure why they necessarily had to use this specific area for Arthur for this bypass, but no, they couldn't have gone around. They had to go directly through Arthur's house, and so luckily his alien friend Ford comes in to help him out, and so I guess like Ford was like. It's like, hey, he brought like a shopping cart's worth of beer, give it to the construction workers, like, don't start till you finish those. And then I guess they're like, let's go to a pub for a pint. And like Arthur's still in his like pajamas, like the entire time. He's still in his pajamas. And so he's like, why are we drinking a pint? And Arthur's like, I'm actually an alien. The world is ending and I'm going to save your life. And I guess during the time at the bar where all this is being explained to him, he reflects that he wanted to have a relationship with Jess from New Girl, but she ends up ditching him at this party due to, what can we say, a douchebag who wants to show her his spaceship. And so in my mind, immediately, I'm like, be gone, fuck! But anyways, that's more important for later. So, yeah, basically that's happening, and everyone's like, the world's ending, let's make sure we have some alcohol in our system. Smart move. So, and then we get up to, then, like, this spaceship comes up, so this Harvey Weinstein-looking aliens, like, that he's demolishing Earth for, like, a hyperspace expressway or some shit. I don't know. I cannot explain. And I want to be honest, I may have not paid the best attention when I watched this movie. Somehow I wrote notes the entire movie, and I'm like, I don't know if I was paying attention very well. But nevertheless, Daddy's making some content. Daddy's making your favorite open wide.
And I really like that.
So yeah, they're like, because they're building that. So it's very, very good parallel to what's happening to Arthur's home at that same current moment. So then Bilbo and Ford get the hell off of Earth. And they make it onto one of the Harvey Weinstein-looking aliens. I'm going to call them, I think they're called Vogons. That's what they're called. However, I'm not going to call them Vogons because they all look like Harvey Weinstein. I could pull up a picture. I'm not going to. But yeah, no, the Vogons all look like Harvey Weinstein, so I'm just calling them like the Harvey Weinstein aliens. And so, like, yeah, they somehow get up on one of their ships to hitchhike, and that's when we're introduced to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Now, from what I watched on a single YouTube video, that the idea for like even this whole entire series was this idea of, I guess, the author of the books, I don't know the fuck his name. He saw a book. I guess he woke up from a drunk night with a book that said like Hitchhiker's Guide to Europe or something like that. And then he had the idea for the galaxy. And so you learn everything how to get around this universe. It's really fun. But yeah, it's on so they make it on the construction ship. The guide introduced them to the Harvey Weinstein aliens, that they're like bureaucrats and they're awful, but also their poetry's bad too, which I've not heard a lot of good poetry, so I could probably believe, that I can believe that very easily. And then they put this weird translator fish in Bilbo's ear, and it's like, oh, the fish can translate anything. Like, they can do cows and, like, random ass animals, too. Like, animals now, humans can now speak to animals. And so, that, I guess, is cool, for the movie. But, like, I guess in the original, that a lot of people who like the actual book do not like this movie. I just want to say that. I enjoyed the movie, to say the least. But apparently the idea of this translator fish was supposed to be the proof that God doesn't exist. And I'm going to let it slide here on this one.
This is the type of guy you get.
On this. So now he can understand every species that's ever existed ever. But then, like, yeah, they get caught by the Harvey Weinstein aliens. They get tied up, and then one of them reads his poetry. And then the Harvey Weinstein aliens are like, what did you think about it? And then Bobo lies, of course. Is like, well, I think there's a lot of deeper meaning behind that. Tries to find meaning behind shit. Sometimes you can do that a lot, and I think it's a good thing to do. But I've come to learn, and I dated a girl who was a dancer, and we went to some dance shit or whatever. And I was like, is there supposed to be a meaning behind this? I was like, oh, is this supposed to be like a separation? No, I think they're just dancing. I'm like, there's no meaning behind it. I'm like, okay, cool. I just wasted 20 minutes of my life. But yeah, Bilbo tries to find meaning behind it. And they're like, you know what? We're going to kill you anyways. And so they throw them into the vacuum of space. So after they get thrown into the vacuum of space, they get picked up by Justin Hammer from Iron Man 2 and Jess from New Girl. And also, they have a depressed robot played by Severus Snape. So that's the rest. So they get picked up by them. They have Snape, robot Snape, bring them to them once they find out they have hitchhikers. But luckily in this case, Justin Hammer and Ford were previous friends. So that's very convenient. And also, the girl Bilbo wanted to fuck, Jess from New Girl, was on the ship too. So very convenient for everyone. And just very, very exciting for him. And then also, like, there's this weird plot. I think it's just the movie doing a bad job of this. I think apparently the books and other radio shows and the TV show did a lot better on this. But I guess Justin Hammer is the president of the galaxy, and he stole a spaceship. But the Harvey Weinstein aliens didn't understand. They thought he was kidnapping himself. I don't know if I'm getting that. I'm just not understanding this, or if I did not pay attention very well. Like I said, I don't know how well I paid attention. Maybe I did pay attention very well, and I just don't understand what's going on. Either one can exist. So I guess, so the Harvey Weinstein aliens are after the ship, and they're not happy, but Justin Hammer and crew go into hyperspace and shit like that. And then also he mentions, like, hey, don't mention to Jess from New Girl that Earth is destroyed, because she's not going to be happy about it. Like anyone, knowing their entire planet is destroyed, they were not happy about it. So then we get on to kind of some plot to the movie. So we're shown like a flashback. I guess he's searching for this computer or whatever. So flashback to a couple of child geniuses who are searching for the meaning of life. So they built a smart computer, and get this, folks. They named the computer Deep Thought.
Oh my gosh, so deep. I fucking love it.
So they ask the computer, what is the meaning of life? And computer's like, Deep Thought.
Oh my gosh, so deep. I fucking love it.
Deep Thought says that, and I believe it's a she or non-binary. I'm not going to get into that today. They said it'll take 7.5 million years to calculate it. And so they wait 7.5 million years. And then they're like, all right, what the fuck is the answer to this question? And Deep Thought
Oh my gosh, so deep. I fucking love it.
says the meaning of life is, the answer to life or whatever is 42. And that's why we're here today, because this is the 42nd episode of Cancel Schweezy. All right. And so, but they have that's the ultimate answer, but I guess they didn't ask the ultimate question. It's supposed to be British humor. So, my American mind cannot comprehend, apparently. My American mind won't comprehend this shit. But nevertheless, though, Deep Thought.
Oh my gosh, so deep. I fucking love it.
He's trying to build like another computer to help find to find the ultimate question. So they got the ultimate answer, but now they're looking for the ultimate question. Answer is 42. This is some algebra right here. Answer is 42. Now, we gotta find the problem, I guess. Well, that's what they're trying to do. This is the plot of the movie, and I guess that's what Justin Hammer from Iron Man 2 is trying to figure out. So anyways, we go into hyperspace again. Oh yeah, and then they go into like this one's funny. They go into like a description of how the universe was made, and it was like the universe was made, and everyone thought that was a bad idea. That was bad. No one liked it. So I guess that's when God left or whatever, or shit like that. So that was funny, and they were like, this is bad. But then they go to this church run by John Malkovich. John Malkovich, I don't know from many roles, so we're just going to call him John Malkovich. I don't even know his name in the movie. I actually don't know any of these people's names, except for Ford and Arthur, I guess. But we're not even calling him Arthur, we're calling him Bilbo. Apparently, Justin Hammer and John Malkovich have some shit to settle. But apparently they set that aside because John Malkovich has somewhat of the coordinates, I guess, or whatever, to get to the to Deep Thought.
Oh my gosh, so deep. I fucking love it.
And so I guess he's like, okay, well, if you get me this gun, this specific gun, I will let you borrow this or whatever to do it. And then for collateral, I guess they take Justin Hammer's second head. By the way, he has a second head. I don't know if I mentioned that. But I know it's a big thing in the original. But the second head was kind of annoying me in the movie. And so, therefore, I was okay with it being gone. But, after they do get that, they get ambushed by the Harvey Weinstein aliens. They don't get the president, but they get Jess from New Girl. And so I guess they have to go to the Harvey Weinstein planet to get Jess from New Girl out of prison. She gets interrogated in the prison, and they're like, what planet are you from? And she was like, Earth. And they're like, oh, that was destroyed. They're like, really? And I'm like, what happened? And they're like, Justin Hammer from Iron Man 2 signed the order because he thought it was getting an autograph to demolish Earth, and she was not happy about that shit. Not happy about that shit at all. And that's when I thought, I was like, oh, so they thought she kidnapped the president, but they don't understand. I don't understand the joke. I think it's just the movie not explaining the joke very well. But they apparently thought someone kidnapped the president, but the president no one's kidnapping the president. And that's the joke, I guess. I don't get it. But yeah, then no one's happy. Justin Hammer destroyed Earth. then oh yeah, and Jess is also made aware that Bilbo Baggins did not tell her about it. And so they eventually fill out all this paperwork and shit like that, and they get her out of prison. And right before she's about to die, too, so very convenient timing. But Jess is basically like, grow a pair of balls. You should have told me that Earth was destroyed. Grow some balls. And I know what you're thinking. Schweezy, you're being very sexist right now. However, we all know pee is stored in the balls. Man, and that's why it's called the penis. Penis. That's pee is stored in the balls. Now, we also have something to say here. You know, pee is stored in the balls. And they're like, women don't have a penis. And that's right, you are. But they do have balls. They're just on the inside. That's how women's balls work. Because women pee too. And they pee out of and pee is stored in the balls. Therefore, women have balls. Okay. Any questions, class? Any questions about where pee is stored? Because pee is stored in the balls. Okay? Dr. Fauci said it, and now I'm saying it. And who's smarter, me or Dr. Fauci? I'm going to drink some of this Waterloo. Not sponsored, by the way. So they continue this planet named... Now, they spelled it on the TV. The TV I watched this movie on. However, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it right, so I'm just not going to pronounce it at all. I'm just going to say it's called Margarita. So they try to go to this planet called Margarita, and it's closed. And I know what you're thinking. How is a planet closed? That's the joke. That's British humor for you. So yeah, Margarita's closed. So they just continue onto it anyways. And then they have thermal nuclear missiles attacking them. And in my mind, how I imagine thermal nuclear missiles are, they look at the thermals of the ship, and so it's able to follow the ship to attack it. I don't know much more than that, folks. So if you're wanting a science lesson, I don't know, go on YouTube, listen to fucking the Liturgist podcast or the Science Mike podcast. I don't know what the fuck y'all listen to. That's not as good as this podcast. This podcast is the best podcast. So yeah, they go into hyperspace where like, oh yeah, and in this movie, if you haven't seen it, when you go into hyperspace, things like change into different objects. Like when Arthur and Ford first initially got on to like Justin Hammer's ship, there were sofas, and then like they had to return to normalcy inside the ship. So that's like, it's just a weird thing going to other dimensions. It's okay. It's a joke. Okay. Anyways, they do that and somehow make it back to the planet. And now the missiles are like flowers. And then they have this whole scene with the whale falling to its death. So yeah. So basically there. So that's basically how they do it. So they end up like finding this interdimensional portal to go to wherever the fuck Deep Thought is.
Oh my gosh, so deep. I fucking love it.
And with that being said, yeah, so they make it through there. But Bilbo Baggins is too much of a pussy and does not make it through. So everyone else is there except for Bilbo Baggins, because Bilbo Baggins pussy's out. Because he doesn't have a pair of balls. Like we say, he doesn't have a pair of balls where pee is stored. Pee is stored in the balls. And so he basically gets picked up by Rufus Scrimgeour from Harry Potter. He was in like had a big role. He was in the 6th book, but wasn't in the movie. But he was in the 7th movie. He's the one at the very beginning. These are dark times indeed. If you want to know who that is. And basically he shows them a factory where they build planets. And apparently there's something, they built a second Earth, and there's a reason for that, which I will get into in just a second. And in the movie, I forgot to say, they were like, humans are the 3rd most intelligent species. The 2nd is dolphins. That was the beginning. But we don't know who the 1st intelligent species are. It's definitely not deer. If you see a deer, they're not very smart. So it's definitely deer or out of the question. But so anyways, let's go back to the other gang. So they finally find Deep Thought.
Oh my gosh, so deep. I fucking love it.
And basically he starts asking them Deep Thought shit. I'm not going to press the button again. Oh, yeah. And apparently the answer to the great question was Earth. Apparently. And of course, Justin Hammer destroyed it. But they were able to get the gun for John Malkovich. And the gun is called Point of View gun, which they have little quirks there. It's like, you want to know why I'm mad? And they shoot the gun at Justin Hammer. It's like, oh, you're mad because that was your home. That's why you're mad I blew up that planet. No shit. So then they, on Earth 2, the gang gets back together, and the mice are still looking for the ultimate question. So you learn, the white mice are question, and they're trying to roofie all of them with tea and food and shit like that. Pulling a little Bill Cosby there, you little mice. That movie came out in 2005 when Bill Cosby was still doing that shit. Was using roofies bad in 2005? I want to say yes, but I can't speak for society in 2005. I was in middle school, so... And then I guess they're about to chop off his brain because the mice need his brain for some reason. And then he's like, the ultimate question is if she's, and then this is Jess from New Girl, is the one, and the answer is yes, but she wakes up from her drugs to hear that, which is very romantic. But then right before it chops his brain off, he is able to get himself out of it and then kills the mice. But they turn into little humanoids before they die, so it's okay. No animals were harmed in the making of this film. And so that was very convenient. They go back to Earth 2 at Arthur's house. That was where it was, if I didn't make that clear. Then the Harvey Weinstein aliens catch up to them, and they're about to shoot, and they start shooting. They actually get a good shot in on the Snape robot, but they didn't. But everyone's like, oh, he's dead, but then he wasn't dead. And then the Snape robot, who is depressed throughout this entire movie, and is just a very depressed robot. And they point the gun. The gun. I need to explain the gun. So I already explained the gun. It was a point of view gun, which lets someone see something from your point of view. So the Alan Rickman robot shot the point of view gun at all the Harvey Weinstein aliens, and they all went to the ground, started crying because they were all so depressed. Because that's how depression works. In the movie, and real Harvey Weinstein is probably not happy he's in jail. Is he in jail? I don't know what he's doing. I don't keep up with him. He's a gross guy. Looks like those fucking aliens in the movie. Harvey Weinstein aliens. Okay, so the movie is about to end, and Jess and Bilbo decide not to stay on the New Earth. They decide to explore the galaxy together. Because they have the ship and they can do that, apparently. And everyone, and then, Justin Hammer hooks up with his vice president, who was there the whole time in this movie, who was not, I didn't know he was the vice president until the end of the movie. I actually know until I saw one video on YouTube. And I guess original Earth returns back to normal with everyone who was murdered on it still. That's what happened. I don't know if that's possible, but it happened in the movie. And everyone lives happily ever after as they go to a restaurant on the other side of the universe. That also has something to do with on the other side of time or something like that. I don't know, folks. I can't explain that shit. So that's the end of the movie. What did I learn? Because for some reason I think I need to learn a lesson when I watch any movie. What did I learn? I learned that if the planet you live on is going to be destroyed, you should make sure the person you want to bang is not on Earth when it gets destroyed and is with you. That is what I learned on watching this movie, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Don't let the person you want to bang be on a planet that's getting destroyed. Hey, hey, thank you for checking out that highlight from Cancel Schweezy. Now, I hope your brain cells don't hurt. We got more highlights available now everywhere. We also got more full episodes as well. If you want to watch a full episode of Cancel Schweezy, available now, right here, right now, available now. If you liked everything, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That way you get notified when new highlights and episodes come up. And leave a comment, like, and stay awesome.